Good morning. Well, it's morning here in Ohio, and I just had this reflection in my heart. Yesterday, I was with my cousin, and we were talking about the things of God, and he said something in regards to my business, my side business, a hustle that I have, and he said, "BC, don't don't try to help God." And I received that fully. I understood the assignment of that word at that moment regarding my business. Um, but this morning, I was in prayer, and that word that he spoke to me last night really resonated and brought came back this morning with this thought is, yes, he was speaking to me regarding my job, my business, but also it can be applied to every area of our lives, even ministry and how we pray. Sometimes we are praying to try to convince God about why things should be a certain way for us. Have you ever prayed like that? Have you ever prayed like, in prayer, you're sitting there and you're just saying to God, it has to be this way because of this and this and that, and it should be this way. I mean, that's the right thing to do. But sometimes what God is doing in 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 the atmosphere or behind the scenes, it doesn't make sense to us. And so when we pray, we should try to pay attention to see if we're trying to convince God about something. It might be a very good clue that you're really just trying to convince yourself that God said. There might be some doubt or unbelief in your heart. So, guys, God doesn't need us to convince him about anything. He already knows. He knows the end from the beginning. He is not surprised by anything, and he is not confused about anything. God knows what he knows, what he knows. And so when he asks us to do something that doesn't make sense in the natural, understand that God is doing something behind the scenes. And sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with you, but it has to do with something that you're connected with, that God has to remove you out of or put you into deeper for there to be a change in someone else's life. You might be the one person, or your organization might be the organization, or your business may be the business that will change the trajectory of someone else's life. And it may be very temporary that you're there. It may be for a season. It may be for long new relationship. You never know. But the point is that we can't help God. He already knows. He already knows the end from the beginning. He knows what he started in you, and he is faithful to finish it. And he doesn't need us to convince him about our plans. Yep, that's right. If in our prayer we sound like we're trying to convince someone, understand that God is up there going, I know, you don't need to convince me. Could it be that you're just really trying to convince yourself? I think that's it. We try to convince ourselves because we think subconsciously or consciously, we feel that we have to be all right with whatever instructions God gives us. And so sometimes we try to convince ourselves that what we're hearing from God really is God. And and we somehow walk in unbelief and in doubt. And so, yeah, don't try to help God.